What made you decide to reach out to me?
So, Nada, I felt like I was at the end of the road. I had made a decision that my job no longer suited me, and I actually had hired a resume writing company to
Wow.
assist me. And I did not feel like they met my needs. They didn't really embody the things that I was looking for in my resume to present. And so I knew that whatever they had provided me wasn't going to cut it. And so I just started doing a lot of research. And your name came up as actually one who has really helped people kind of grow and really just kind of focus on bringing yourself out of that imposter syndrome and really just kind of highlighting your true value. And so that is how I ended up finding your services and working with you, which was a great experience.
That's amazing to hear.
There was a lady by the name of Alicia Cyrus, and she worked for Solemn at some point, and so she knew your name.
Oh,
And so she
interesting.
had been saying, you know what, you need to reach out to Nada because she can really help you in this
Oh,
area.
goodness, I need to reach out to her and thank her. Okay. You know, one of the big hurdles that I see a lot of leaders struggle with is positioning themselves, finding their superpower. I've always been passionate about that because I feel like if you're not clear on that, it's really hard to attract the right opportunities. What do you feel was the hardest thing for you when it comes to repositioning yourself, and how do you feel that I was able to help you overcome that?
Yeah, so the hardest thing for me again was knowing my value and what I could bring to the table and how I could help, a business continue to grow. I think that was the hardest for me because I saw myself as someone who, I've managed, 50 or so people and I was in that role, but I didn't feel confident because I think I allowed myself to get so caught up and be torn down. And so what you helped me to do is just realize my value. You help build us up just through the exercises and helping us to just better understand like what you bring to the table, like what you've been doing really can contribute to the overall growth of a company. And you do bring value and don't discount yourself, right?
Yeah.
Remember, you bring a lot to the table. And I think I discounted myself and you helped me to really open my eyes and see, wait a minute, I've done all this stuff. I can go to another company and do it again.
Yeah, it seems so simple at the surface level, but it's so hard for people to, navigate this challenge. Why do you think is that? I'm so curious from your perspective.
I think it's a couple of reasons. I think for me, number one was just you work in an environment where you don't feel appreciated and you have to learn how to still be able to get your job done, excel, and not worry about is someone giving you the accolades. Yes, you want that, but overall, you have to know that you've done a good job. So I think for me, that was the one thing. I think another thing that just kind of resonates with me, I think just breaking through that. You've gone through that enough times and you're like, wait a minute, do I know what I'm talking about? But then just not questioning yourself. Like, I know I've done this, I've done more, I've multitasked and done more. So it just gave me a sense of like, again, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but just really just doing some soul searching, understand like, Stephanie, you can do this. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to look at, your wins and not focus on your failures, but look at your wins and how you impacted and contributed, and then you can move forward. And once I was able to do that, I think I was able to break through. Now it did take time, but I was able to have some breakthrough after that.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so when it comes to storytelling, very difficult for people to tell their story, especially when you've done so much and just trying to find the right story, the right messaging out of what I just shared, or maybe there's something else that I've missed. What do you feel was the hardest thing for you when it comes to telling your story?
The hardest thing was is remembering the stuff that I contribute to. And not thinking that like something you may think is small and it doesn't matter, actually did contribute to bottom lines, did contribute to getting projects out of the door. So just remembering that. and remembering your role and understanding like what you brought to the table. I think for me, that was how I was able to finally get out of that. I mean, your process helped me so much just in terms of like realizing when I first became a manager, the obstacles that I had to go through. And then afterwards, with, asserting myself in the role and then starting to gain the respect of, my peers as well as those, above me in senior management, then it was like, you know what, Stephanie? You did do a lot. You were able to you have a story to tell. And so that kind of helped me. Like once I sat there and thought about it and thought like, life hasn't just been roses or your career hasn't been roses, but it's not how you initially go into it, but how you finish, right? So how you finish. And so when I was able to finish and figure out like sort of that secret sauce of how do you balance and you interact with your team, you're knowledgeable, you help support your team. When I was able to find that balance, I was able to overcome some of my struggles. And that was like one of my first stories of tell me about yourself is, that's the one thing that really resonated with me is like how it was challenging for me when I became a manager because at the time, my manager was like, hey, you're going to be the new manager. So these people that you've been working with and they're your peers, they now report to you. And he just sent an email and said, here you go. And the team was upset. And so we were able to work through it and get through it. And I was able to show them the value that I could help bring, show them the value they bring. Also, we were able to be creative and collaborate with other teams. And once they were able to see that, it was a breakthrough for me and my team. And so I needed to share that story with future employers and it's resonating. So
That's amazing.
it's served its purpose. And, you did a good job of preparing me for that.
That's beautiful. What do you feel is, differentiates me as a coach? I'm sure that you've worked with other coaches or worked with others, mentors, etc. What do you feel is my superpower that would be a fit for someone overcoming a particular challenge?
Your superpower is your passion for people, the empathy you have. You've gone through things in your life. And so because you're relatable, that helps people come out of their shell and be able to communicate better. So I think and you're a great communicator. I really enjoy the time we spent together working the week at a time. I think, there were times where I sat on calls and I stayed late and you and I talked and I had to be vulnerable because I was struggling at the time of like really trying to figure out, I didn't want to be an imposter. I wanted to, realize and go out there and seek new opportunities, but I wasn't able to do that because I wasn't telling my story. And so I think, just the person in you, just the empathy, you sat and you talked with me and you helped you get over those roadblocks and those hurdles that I was facing. So that empathy that you have and just the passion for people and the passion for people to succeed, I think is what differentiates you as a coach.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
No, you've done a great job and you've built a name for yourself that definitely you should be proud of in any endeavor that you go through. I definitely think you can help in many ways. I mean, a lot of us are walking around here as imposters, right? We don't know. I mean, we've had things that have happened at work where we just felt like we can't break out of shells or we can't do anything different. We can't grow our careers. And I think, just you being you and you being relatable and you have worked with tons of people. I mean, the people that I know were in my cohort, people that, I've seen other testimonials through the videos that you've done. You've made a difference and you've changed their lives and getting people to be able to communicate effectively, to tell a story that, incites just so much excitement. I feel like that's how you'll be able to help an organization. Just keeping people, giving them those building blocks to keep them organized. So you keep people organized, you give them the building blocks to succeed, providing, your SOAR method that has just really helped me just not even in my professional life, but in my personal life of just how to communicate with people and how to tell a story. I think that's where your strong suit is. And so I definitely think as you expand your career now and you look at coaching and coaching up to the executive level, I think that that's going to help bring people out of their comfort zone, bring people out of their shell, and just bring people to a place where they can communicate effectively, where they can, focus on the things that matter, show them their true selves. I think you bring all that out. And so organizations will be I think will be excited to have you on board to kind of help continue to mentor or grow their folks.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely feel the confidence and the career clarity is where a lot of, employees could benefit. Sometimes, when you're in the grind, you forget how fun or how valuable your work is.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing. Love it. Oh my goodness. Thank you.